Oh man, we live, baby. We live. We lit, baby. We lit. What's really good, family tree? Let me know that you're up in the building with me by simply hitting the like button, number one, right? And then just leave a comment down below so I know we have some type of participation going on right now. So, yeah, you guys have been asking for it. I really want to do this show. This show is titled Muhammad Found in Abyssinia, Unlocking the Mystery of, I think it's the Marib Dam Inscription. Yeah, perfect. Hold on. Make sure I mute that off just in case. So, family, if you would like to get involved, just drop me down a comment down below so I can get you all of you guys in. I did a show previously to do with this particular topic, and in there it was basically showing you that Muhammad of the original Muhammad. There we go. Let's do that. The original Muhammad that's found in the very first Sirah Maghazi literature from Muslims. You know, this is where you're going to get the history of Muhammad from. Before you even get to the standard Islamic narrative of Muhammad in here, which is roughly on page 104, 105 onwards, if you turn to page 22, right at the beginning, you're going to find the first Muhammad in there, the original Muhammad in there. You're going to find Muhammad of the Abyssinian Empire. Okay, that is the Muhammad that we're going to be discussing today, because that Muhammad, fortunately for us, has been verified via the Marib Dam inscription. We can find him in there. Okay, so, you know, sometimes we may think that, you know, those of us who knows a bit more may think that these guys are making stuff up. But no. Abraha is actually a real person. Abyssinia is a real place. Yeah. And this particular Muhammad is actually a real person who was crowned the Archbishop of the See of Habesha, or the See or the Cursory of Habesha, basically. And this individual was the one that revolutionized the whole of Arabia, roughly from around, you know, circa 550 AD. He and Abraha conquered the whole of Arabia, all the way south in Yemen, Hadramat, all the way over them sides, Iraq, all the way up to the northern borders of the Roman Byzantine Empire, etc. Right? They conquered the whole area and they spread their religion throughout their area. Now, you can say, Kalam, you're making this up, and I don't even have time for you because obviously I know that you guys haven't read anything. I'll just say go Google Wikipedia if you want to, and I'm sure you'll find that information on there. Okay? So now, I'm actually going to be bringing up the Marib Dam inscription. I think it's going to be a study session because I'm doing all these long length live episodes because down the line, I hope to actually, when I have time, to really construct short, concise videos that tackles every single point that I make and break, basically. So salute to everybody who's tuned in right now. Facts over personality, always up in the building, number one. Love that. Then we've got Akani up in here as well. And then, of course, Born Eternal Lord Allah. Peace and longevity to all Americans up in the building. Okay, so cool. I'm going to do this real quickly. Family tree, tell a friend to come on in here because this is a good show. This is really a good show. So where are we? Okay, we're going to do a little something with you guys. So for those of you guys who are new to the channel, I did an episode on this, which was, let's just bring this along if I can. There we go. So I did a parallel, what we can find within inside the Sirah literature. We can find within inside the Tarikh of Tabari, volume 5, and of course Ibn Ishaq, Ibn Hisham, Sirah literature as well. We find, you know, certain things, okay, that mentions Abraha and mentions this particular Muhammad. And basically the Arabs, you know, were seeking, you know, all came to Abraha. And then Abraha said, you know what, I've come here to, well, you lot have basically been invited for a particular reason. There is a coronation. There's a whole festival and a feast that's about to take place because we're going to crown one of you. Okay. We're going to crown one of you and then send you out on a mission. Okay, so this was a religious crown because there was a religious throne that was open. Of course, he can't crown you as another king because he is the king. So what type of crowning was this? And we find it was a religious crown because there was a religious throne that was open because Abraham was building his cathedral. And for a cathedral, the root of the word cathedral is cathedral, which means throne or chair. And somebody, i.e. a bishop, has to sit on that cathedral or throne. And that's what was going on. So again, if you don't have, how can I put it, historical, cultural, social knowledge of the time in history, you won't be able to read these little nuances in the text. Thankfully for all of you guys, I'm that guy in it. I'm the history guy, man. I love history too much, so I know this stuff, right? So anyways, there was a coronation that took place. He crowned him, and he basically told him, like, listen, go out there, mingle amongst the people, do dawah, invite them to the religion, and obviously get them to do pilgrimage and stuff to the cathedral as well. So this was the whole case that was going on in the time. When we find the same story, literally, we find the same story on the Marib Dam. This is, you can just Google it, CIH 541. Yeah, CIH right here, 541. And you'll find the whole stele. It's like a big 250 centimeter high stele, basically, with Sabaic writings on it. Okay. And in there, it tells you, yeah, we're about to do something right now. And I'm going to break that down for you guys. I'm going to actually go through it and break it down. Let me just double check. You guys are here. What's good? Okay. So I'm going to break this down for you guys because I've seen a lot of you guys are like questioning me and saying, Kalam, you're lying or whatever the case is, or I'm going to debunk this because you're not, and I'm like, listen, family, everybody needs to learn how to crawl before they can run. Yeah. Now this is where I do some braggadociousness right now to you guys. I just want to let you guys know, yeah, you see the levels that I'm on. Technically speaking, I should have a doctorate already. Technically speaking, yeah, as I said, I should really be debating with scholars because those are the people that should technically be on my level as a peer. Give me an honorary. I need to go to SOAS and get an honorary doctorate because even now, I'm not even arguing with all of you guys, my Muslim brothers and sisters. I'm not even going to argue with you guys. I'm actually going to argue with the scholars right now. Okay, and here it goes. So for those of you guys who've clicked on it and I've shown you the CIH 541, you're going to realize that the scholars are at odds about the translation and the meaning of the particular lines that we're talking about. So it's roughly 65, 66, 67, roughly here. Let me see if I can find it over here. There you go. And it says here, and he returned to the city of Marib. Hopefully you guys can see it. Let's just do it here. Highlight this for you guys. Can I highlight? There you go. There you go. Cool. Cool. Okay, cool. He returned to the city of Marib and celebrated Mass in the church of the Marib because there was a priest there, the father of the community. And as you can see right there, there's a question mark. The reason why there's a question mark, because they don't understand it. And I'm going to show you, okay, why I deserve a doctorate. And I'm going to be shouting out to the universities like SOAS University, as I said. Yeah, School of African and Asian Society. I can't remember what it's called. Anyways, I need to be shouting out to Cambridge and Oxford and Manchester University and the rest of them to be like, yo, give me an honorary doctorate because what you lot don't understand, I'm going to actually break it down for you guys. And you're not going to think I'm wild for even saying this, but let me show you. Okay, so over here we have the inscription that says that they don't understand what it means. Then we go to another translation. Okay, Nebez, cool. Real quickly. Cool. And he went out and consecrated, again, question mark, the church of Marib. There was a priest present, the head of their congregation, blah, 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 blah. Okay. You're going to find it in various different translations. I'm sure I've got another one here somewhere. Give me a sec. I know I have another one somewhere. One second. Inscription. Let's do this one here. Cool. Let's see. There's quite a few of them that I've got. So this is Nebez. We've done that. We've done the CSAI, and then this one as well. After that, he entered the city of Marib and consecrated the church of Marib since there was a priest, the abbot of his monastery, etc. So these are the things that they put up, and clearly, like, they don't even understand what's going on. All right. And I'm actually going to break down what's going on, because some of you guys are saying, like, no, it doesn't say what it says. And I'm like, bro, let me actually educate you so I can show you what it actually says. All right. So they don't understand what's going on here. All right. And even though I'm speaking big braggadocious talks, like, I can be wrong 100% because I ain't no expert in this field, but I'm just going to show you my proposal and proposition as to what it actually means. So I say here, let's apply the historical critical method. Historical criticism emphasizes the importance of understanding the historical, social, and cultural environment in which a text was created. So we're going to go into that. We're going to go into the historical, social, and cultural environment. All right. So over here, historically, the Himyar kingdom went without a bishop for about 25 years after the death of the previous bishop under King Caleb, as the king of the Himyar refused to accept a bishop from Alexandria that had accepted the Chalcedonian Synod. We later find out that the Himyarites went against the prescription of the Canon and had elected a priest and invested him with episcopacy. Okay, so Kalam, are you sure, fam? Are you sure? What are you talking about? Where are you getting this stuff from? All right, cool. So just to show you where I'm getting this stuff from, because I know with you guys, like every little thing, I must show you. Let's cancel that. Come on. And it's because you lot don't read history like that, that I now have to just go and actually prove every single bit of it. So anyways, let's go to the 25-year point. Where are we? So this is in the life and works of Gregentius. You'll find it in here. Big scholarly work. It says here, and the king of the Homerites, having learned about the doctrine of the Chalcedonian Synod, had been introduced into Alexandria, and that Theodosius had been expelled on account of his faith and deposed because he recalled from embracing the synod. The king himself, offended by this, and refused to accept a bishop from Alexandria. Okay, so let's quickly go through. And it continues, and it says here, they eventually reached the point that against the prescription of the canons, having convened the presbyters, i.e. the priests, they held the gospel over the head of one of them. And it says, here he is, they said, invested with episcopacy, for they thought that in this way the ordering of a bishop had been performed without even taking into consideration the rank of the layman. Cool. So, yeah, so I'm just backing up everything that I've just basically stated, and then let's get back into it again. So, let's go share window. There we go. So, and I'm saying here, I propose that CAIH 541 is a commemoration of this event. Okay. What's going on in what I've just read out is that particular stele is commemorating that event where a bishop is now finally installed and the cathedral is now being consecrated, and, you know, they've got it now. They've literally got it. Okay. That is what the inscription is talking about. And when the Muslims are talking about the crowning of Muhammad, that's also what they're talking about as well. Now, why do I say this? I say this based on the prominence of this. The whole monument, okay, is around three key areas. And we find that it's around these three key areas by simply going to the text. No, let me not go to the text here. 1 second. Let me actually go over here. Screen share. And then we go, 1 second. Let's go to Christian Robin. Cool. Yeah. Christian Robin, here we go. So over here, we see that Christian Robin, the Himyar, here it is in the blue. Let me see if I could just make that a little bit bigger. Okay. So it says here, here is what he spent since the day when he left on his expedition, the consecration of the church, Aldan, and the dam. And it goes through everything. So we see that the monument speaks about a few things, yeah, but three main things in particular. And of course, there is a whole, embassy coming, ambassadors coming over as well, which is linked technically to this, what I'm talking about. But over here, we see that this thing was a big deal because man spent bread. He spent peas, 50,806 measures of flowers, 26,000 measures of dates, 3,000 butchered animals and cows and livestock and 7,200 heads, etc., etc., etc. So we can see that he spent a lot of money based upon three things. Okay, he spent it based upon his expeditions, based upon the consecration of the church, and the building of the dam. Okay, so this thing here, the consecration of the church, is a massive event that has taken place. It's a massive event. So I just want to highlight the massiveness of it. And we understand the massiveness of it by literally just going back into the historical records from the Syrians, the Greeks, etc., the Arabs, talking about what this massive event was. It was the consecration of the church. But what more does it mean? Anyways, so I give a definition of what this all means, and it's based on the prominence of the text, based on canon law, and the mass gathering, based on the canon law and the reported contravention as well, and based on linguistics supplemented by literature, based on the precedent set by King Kalam inscriptions and contemporary literature. This is my rationale for those of you guys who are saying it doesn't mean Abu Qasim, which is right here, it says Qasim Ab, which basically means the chief priest, archpriest. Okay, that is my definition that most of you guys are having a problem with. And I'm going to show you why it does mean that. And it's based upon the things I've just mentioned. It's definitely based on, number one, the canon law, based upon linguistics, and based upon the historical records as well. Now, I was going to do something on this, but to me, it's just long to like really go through every single, like each one of those 5 points there. I would be here for hours, really just breaking it down, because it's hours of research and books and stuff that you have to go through to understand this. And I don't even have the time for that. So what I will do is just simply show you my proposed translation, and then I will just break it down with you guys. I'm going to invite you guys in. You can question me, so then we can just see wherever you guys are lacking in understanding with what I'm going to bring out, and wherever I am not clear in articulating what I'm trying to bring forth, you lot can question me and be like, yo, I don't understand that. Show me where that says that. So anyways, over here, let me go to it right now because we want to be quick. Okay, we want to be quick. All right, cool. So down here, it should say my proposed translation. Right here. Cool. See if I can make that a bit bigger. Bring that along. Cool. So we're starting really and truly from, verse 66 and moving into this verse 67. And I've kind of color coded it in a bit. Yeah, color coded it. I'm gonna have to just bring this in a little bit more. There you go. Okay, so I kind of color coded it, and I've given like two different translations that you can possibly get from this. Actually, before I do that, let me just make sure that you guys are here with me. Jeez, animals up in the building. All right, cool. You man are there. Yeah, you lot are locked in. Cool. Say less. Say less. To get my attention, please just tag Titans TV and drop something. Okay. Anyways, cool. All right. Proposed translation right here. I've said that it's consecrated to the Church of Marib, i.e., the celebrated liturgy in the Church of Marib, because there was in it, the church, an archpriest from the College of Presbyters. This is the proper translation. Okay. The second one could be consecrated the Church of Marib because there was in it a priest, head of the College of Presbyters. Either way, this is the meaning of it. Now, they give like different stuff. They say, consecrated the Church of Marib, there was a priest present, the head of their congregation. Priest present, there was there, the father of the community, abbot of his monastery. Yeah. And I'm going to show you why all of them are wrong. And this is the reason why it's right. Okay. So the reason why they're wrong and why I'm right, obviously, is because you have to understand the grammar of the text, which is long for me to actually now. Might have to bring it up actually to show you guys the grammar and the syntax of the text. But in here, it basically says they consecrated, or sorry, the church was consecrated. Cool. Right here, you have a subordinate clause. This is why I have to just like bring this up. A subordinate clause. Because if you understand them saying that the church was consecrated, you'll understand the next question is like, huh? How? How was the church consecrated? And the subordinate clause answers the reason and of how the church was consecrated. Let me see if I've got it here. Subordinate clause. Let me just quickly do this. This is, again, we're now going into the grammar of the language, okay? And I was going to do something where I literally broke down every single word in there, showing you what it means in a lexicon, i.e. the definition, the meaning of the word, plus I'll show you the grammar of the text so you can understand the morphology, the syntax, and everything else involved. But I said to myself, like, listen, Carl, that is work, Do you know how much work that is just to prove a point that people don't even really caring about? But again, this is what you have to do from a scholarly level. Anyway, what is a subordinate clause? A subordinate clause is a clause that cannot stand alone as a complete sentence. It merely complements the sentence main clause, thereby adding to the whole unit of meaning, because a subordinate clause is dependent upon a main clause to be meaningful. It is also referred to as a dependent clause. Whether you use the term subordinate or dependent to describe the clause, this clause function is clear. It provides informational support to the main event of the sentence. This main clause will be independent. It can stand on its own as a complete sentence. So over here, we find that the church was consecrated. Cool. That is the main clause. The subordinate clause is this, that there was in it an archpriest from the College of Presbyters. Okay, so this subordinate clause gives you additional information that the main clause doesn't have. Okay, it's clear. It provides informational support to the main event of the sentence. The main clause will be independent. Okay, so it provides additional information to support the main clause. So the main clause is the church was consecrated. Now, if you know anything about churches and consecrations and mass celebration, it can only be done if there is a bishop, because the bishop is the head of the sacraments. There's certain things that a priest can do. There's certain things a deacon can do in terms of the hierarchy, but only a bishop is able to do, the higher level things, such as consecrating a church. So the first main clause tells you that the church was consecrated, but then you know that the church can't be consecrated because it's not allowed to be consecrated. So hence, the subordinate clause explains to you how and why it was consecrated. Okay? Hopefully, like, you lot are following me. Again, I'm going to get you guys in so you can question it. All right? And it says here, so this is the subordinate clause right here. Yeah, it introduces it. It says here, in it, i.e. the church, and this word here is priest, and this word here is arch, okay? In it, there was an archpriest, okay, from the College of Presbyters. Now, some of you guys are going to say, how do you get that translation? And I'm going to show you how I get that translation. So, again, I could be wrong, but I know I'm right. But I could be wrong. So let me just quickly give it to you. Where are we going? We're going to go to the Sabaic Dictionary, because this is the word that, this is where most of the translators are finding difficulties because they don't know how to explain it. Cool. Let's go here. just make this bigger so I can see what you guys can see. And then let's go over here. See, this is a study session. This is how you look. This is how I study. Where do I want to go? Let's see. Cool. So over here, they've got the word. They've got the word here for that word. Christian religious community. Christian religious community. And it's like, okay. Like, what does that mean? Because in the context of the text, a Christian religious community, like, you're going to have to, it doesn't make any sense, right? But when you understand the root of the word or the etymology of the word, and we're going to go to it right now, we will see it, okay? So over here, it says here, those having, so this is ST, those having the same authority status as the Kales, okay? That is where that word comes from, but this word is STL. STL instead of just ST. And I'm going to explain to you why it is the college of presbyters, because when you introduce the text, we find out we're talking about an archpriest, or let's just say we're talking about a priest. And then those having the same authority as a priest would be the college of presbyters or the college of priests. Okay. And but Kalam, like, are you stretching it a little bit? Let's make it make sense now. So I'm just introducing this to you guys, and then let's go into it. Because I know some of you guys want to do some rebuttals, and I'm going to just show you how to do some scholarship before you can actually rebuttal me. So where do I want to go to? I want to go over here. No, this is the wrong one. 1 second. Okay, cool. So right here, we're going to do some reading together. Okay, just as a, so this is right now where this is like a Catholic, I'm sure it's meant to be an online encyclopedia. Yeah, Catholic encyclopedia. There you go. Catholic encyclopedia. It says here, just among the deacons of the bishop's church, one stood out as special assistant and representative of the bishop, and an archdeacon acquired a jurisdiction of his own. So do we find since the 4th century in numerous dioceses an archpriest. Okay, this was my definition. An archpriest or head of the college of presbyters. Okay, who aided and represented the bishop in the discharge of his liturgical and religious duties. As a rule, and especially in Rome, whence the custom spread, the oldest of the presbyters was invested with this rank. In the Greek church, on the other hand, his appointment often lay in the hands of the bishop. It continues, okay? So we see right here, an archpriest, is the head of the college of presbyters. And he represents a bishop. We're going to go into it a bit more because we're going to go into now. We're going to go into, right now, we're going to go into the canon. This is the Catholic canon. This is the code of law that most of you guys are not going to know about, right? But this is the canon. Remember earlier on, they said that in the Syriac writing, it says that they went against the canon. I'm going to show you what the canon is, and let's just see if they did go against the canon, and we'll understand it a bit more. So over here, let's quickly go down. Okay, so we've got again, the Presbyteral Council and the College of Consultors. Okay, again, this is the college. This is the equals. All of them are priests, but there's always one. There is always an archpriest. So we're going to go into this. Right here, it says here, the diocesan bishop resides over the College of Consultors. Okay, a bishop. When a see is impended or vacant. However, the one who temporarily takes the place of the bishop, or if he has not yet been appointed, the priest who is senior in ordination in the College of Consultors preside. Now, I don't know if you lot are catching it, but this is the crux right here. Why? Because the see, as the see, which is the see, which basically is the throne, the chair of the cathedral, had been vacant for 25 years. They petitioned for a bishop, but no bishop came because they would not accept a bishop that accepted the Chalcedonian Creed, because they were anti-Chalcedonians, right? And they get their bishop from Alexandria. The Patriarchy of Alexandria sends them their bishops. But because it had been vacant for so long, and Abraha was starting his own thing and needed legitimacy and doing, establishing his own thing, he says, "Bun that, guess who can take the place of a bishop? The priest, i.e., the archpriest, who is senior in ordination in the College of Consultors." Okay, so this is exactly what took place in the Marib Dam inscription, right? There was in it an archpriest from the College of Presbyters who, according to the code, the Canon, Code of Canon, he's able to take the place or represent the bishop. Okay, but they literally made him the bishop. So that's what took place there. Hence, they were able to consecrate the church, because only bishops are able to consecrate the church. So they're explaining to you why they were able to consecrate the church, because there was in it an archpriest from amongst the College of Presbyters, or the head of the College of Presbyters was appointed and able to do the role of a bishop. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. And if you guys want to challenge that, I welcome you to come in and challenge it. And then, because you want to say that, the Qasim Abu or Abu Qasim doesn't mean archpriest, and then then we're going back to the Islamic Mahabid and so forth. I know you don't want to have that conversation, but hopefully this information here, real quick one, will make sense to you. If it doesn't, let's get into it. Let's get into it right now. I'm going to send you guys the link and let's talk. Okay, this is a quick one. There's so much more. There's literally, hold on. There is literally so much more to go into it as well. But I'm choosing not to. I'm choosing not to even do it, because, hold on, let me just show you guys. Because I said here, based on law and the mass gathering, I could show you that actually. Let me see. One second. Come on, get off that. Yeah. So I could show you guys that in order for an ordination of a bishop to take place, there's a mass needs to take place. Okay. The ordination generally is to be celebrated in the cathedral church. Clerics and other members of the Christian faithful must be invited to the ordination so that as large an assembly as possible is present at the celebration. Remember how much money or how much resources Abraha spent on this particular consecration or celebration of Mass, right? Because he wanted to gather as many of the Arabs there as possible for this particular ordination. Okay. Yeah. But anyways, what was I saying? The point was, the mass gathering, the contravention, linguistics. I could even go into the precedent that was set by King Calib as well, and then other contemporary literature that's talking about the archpriest. But I won't even do all of that because I just want to get you guys in so we can have a good show. Yeah, let's get you guys in. Boom. You're here right now. Jump on in. Jump on in. Okay, let me quickly read some of these comments if I can. Annibal up in the building, big up every time. Only debate your equals, all others you teach, 100%. Talk about Ethiopia, yeah. Habesha, Axum. Let's see, Did you see a Chief X 5-hour show yesterday? No, I didn't, you know. I didn't. Cool. Yeah, family. So the link has been shared. Anytime you guys want to come in, we can talk about anything, man. You know, not anything. I'm going to be talking about this particular topic, but you can come in, even if you agree with me. Come on in, man. Come on in. There you go, man. Like I can. What you telling me, my broski?
Yes, my bro. What you telling me, man?
Yeah. Family tree. Let me
There,
know
man.
if you're
We
able to
there,
hear
man. We
me and a
there,
can at
man.
the same time. Wait, testing,
You say what?
testing. Family, let me know if you can hear me and a can as well. Okay.
Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. What do you call it? I'll be putting you on. I'll be going on mute at times, innit? Because what do you call it? I'm eating, innit? So
Yeah.
if I'm listening to you and taking a bit long, just bear with me, innit? But yeah, man. Yeah, man. I'm ready for you, man. I'm ready
So
for you. I've got my little notebook next
I
to me.
know say you had some smoke for me, so let me hear it, man.
I've got some smoke, and it's like we have to take time. So it's like we both understand what's going on. You get it?
But first, before you even land the smoke here, did you understand that presentation just there?
Yeah, but I think you're getting me wrong. I'm not saying Abu Qasim doesn't mean father of the priest.
Well, it doesn't mean father of the priest. I said it means archpriest or chief priest.
Archpriest, yeah. I'm not objecting to what you're saying. I'm saying the name Abu Qasim, the Prophet's got, which Qasim is distribution, which you can find in the Quran. That's his name, innit? So you're confusing the two, innit? But we can get into that still.
Okay. Now, because I've seen other people arguing that, you know, what I want to know, do you agree with my translation here that the word right here, means
Wait,
archpriest?
I can't see still.
I did it earlier on. I showed it up earlier on where it says Qasim.
Hold on, let me go on my other phone. Hold on. I'm going to have to look on my other phone while I'm doing this. Hold on a second. Is it up on the screen now, yeah?
Yeah. Line number 67 of the Marib Dam.
Yeah. Man knows about that still. Yeah, I see. Yeah, that's correct, man. So, you know what I thought before when I first read it? I thought the B wasn't a part of the Qasim. I thought it was a part of the MSTL at first. That's where I got it wrong. That's why when I paged you first and I was like, there's no father in the name. That's what I was basing it on. But remember, it's transliteration, so you can't really hold me onto that, man. I genuinely got it wrong, innit? But I get what you mean, innit? Because even in my name, as you can see there, Jabba, child of Jah. Well, not God, but it's an ancestor, but that's another day.
So
but,
there you go. There you go. Because, you know, somebody else was saying to me, oh, you can't have the adjective or the modifier at the end of the word. I'm like, listen, that might be in Arabic, but that's not in other languages.
And you can still.
In your language, you can see that the modifier is at the end.
Well, you got people actually objecting to that bit.
Oh yeah. I literally
can't believe it.
Yeah. So at least we were clarified, you know, my position, because obviously we have they've actually translated it differently, of course, which I brought up wherever I grew up. Some of them have translated it as there was a priest, and then they say the head of their congregation. Yeah. Right. So they've separated the two words into like two different clauses. But I'm saying nope, priest and the word that they got head is actually you know, part of the same thing. It's one is an adjective. Yeah. So, you know, the ab is adjective.
Hold on, just getting a water still, car. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna need this. Hold on.
Cool. So, all right, cool. So at least we're over that, yeah, because I know some people were not clear on that or was not over that. Cool. But now your argument is not to do with the Abyssinian being called Abu Qasim. Your problem is with you know, Muhammad being called Abu Qasim and it meaning you know, chief archpriest basically for his name. Right?
Hold on. So say that again, Kalam.
So Your problem is not with Abu Qasim being in the Marib Dam inscription.
No, never, man.
Your problem is with Muhammad being called Abu Qasim and it meaning
No,
archpriest
your
versus
claim
it
on
meaning
what the
head or father of distribution.
yeah, what you're trying to say, what the Najran people's calling him.
So that's
even, but not just that. Remember, because your claim is Abu Qasim, he's technically the author of the Quran, right?
Abu Qasim. I haven't made that.
Obviously, put God to the side. Us Muslims, we believe it's Allah in it, but obviously, the Prophet Muhammad just
for you guys, yeah, for Muslims believe it is Abu Qasim who is Muhammad, right? Author of the Quran. I would say that in terms of authoring the Quran, I would say that there may lie traces, if not chapters, that definitely do go back to my Abu Qasim, my Muhammad. Is quite possible.
Okay.
Yeah, it's quite possible.
Right, cool.
But that is that there is something that has to be proven.
Cool.
And I'm not making that claim because it's long to prove it.
Let me get my notebook. So cool. So are you claiming Abu Qasim? But remember, your claim as well is that Abraha had an input in the Quran as well, like authorizing it. So, and remember, you said, so I asked you, that means you're saying there was more than one Muhammad, but you're saying, no, it's only one Muhammad, basically Muhammad Khuzai, yeah? So, are you still sticking to that claim that it's Muhammad Khuzai, that is the bishop, that is on the inscription of the Abraha inscription, the CIH 541
Yeah,
inscription?
so the CIH 541 is from the Islamic historiographer recordings, i.e. Ibn Ishaq. He claims that this particular prominent religious figure is Muhammad. He makes that claim.
What, the one that's Abu Qasim?
Yes.
Can you point to us literally him saying Muhammad Khuzai is Abu Qasim? Then we move to the next, innit?
No. We see that his story, the narrative, the narrative that he tells, here we go, let me just do this. The narrative that he tells about, one second, the narrative that he tells about the gathering of the Arabs, the festival, the coronation, and the cathedral, and the leader, right? He says all of those things is to do with Muhammad, right?
But remember, in Ibn Ishaq, he narrates that he got killed as well.
Hold on.
Can't neglect that.
Hold on, yeah. So we have, that's the narration, right? And then we say, okay, cool. That's the narration he gives of this Muhammad. Now, can we find this Muhammad? Can we verify the story of Ibn Ishaq? And we say, okay, cool. We go, we find the Marib Dam inscription, and the basic outline of that story is there. The gathering of the Arabs, it's there. A festival taking place, it's there. He calls it a coronation or crowning of Muhammad. We say it is the it's the, how can I put it, the ordination or the crowning of the archbishop. That's what takes place, right, in the Marib Dam inscription. Okay, he talks about the cathedral. Obviously, it's the cathedral as well. He calls him Muhammad. We say in the text, it just simply says Abu Qasim or the high priest. It doesn't give the person's name. But
no problem.
If all the things that he's talking about is verified in the Marib Dam, I would say that he's saying that this individual is Muhammad. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's safe to say that you're low-key picking and choosing. I'm going to go into what you said, but you are low-key picking and choosing now, Canon.
Nope.
Because now, watch this here. You're saying, because at the same time, in the same breath, you're accusing Ibn Ishaq and whatever for making up genealogy and whatever, but you're
I
saying this
never
was
said
true.
that. I never said that he made up genealogy.
Cool. Cool. Let's go into what you just said now. Yeah, cool.
Yep.
I take on what that is Muhammad Khuzai.
Mhm.
I have no disagreement with him being in the inscription of like that's him in it. I have no problem with that. We're talking about the one who brought the Quran. This is the issue here. So now, if you're gonna pin it on Muhammad Khuzai, this is where I'm gonna start now. So boom, that means he was made a prophet or a Rasul or a Abba Qasim. He was made at roughly 548 from a range of from 545, let's say, to 548 at least. But let's really go to 548 because that's when the inscriptions is
Yeah,
dated to.
let's say circa 550. Let's just keep it round numbers. Circa meaning
Yeah,
around 550.
yeah.
Yeah.
550. Cool, yeah? So cool, yeah? When was the year of the elephant? According to what are you saying?
So I would say the year of the elephant is something that's made up. One. Number two, if it was something that did happen, it would be roughly okay. There would be two dates to
Yeah.
it. It would be
Go
roughly
on.
again, it would be roughly 550s if we take it that
Okay.
Abraha really did go, he done his
What,
thingy
550?
circa 550. We're talking about this particular inscription really goes into him crushing a rebellion, etc. in 550. So yeah, that you could
So
wait,
that
wait.
means
Well, hold on, I ain't finished yet, right?
Go
But then we go into the other stories. We find that it was Caleb
yes, go on.
who was doing who was part of the year of the elephant. So
Yeah,
that takes us back into when he came over, which was roughly in the
yeah.
520. Let's say
25,
525. Let's say 525,
525, yeah.
circa 525. So we
Yep,
have two occasions where the year of the
yep,
elephant could potentially be, but it's not
yep.
down to me, okay, to say when the year of the elephant was.
Of
Is
course.
down to your Muslim scholars to basically say
Yeah.
when the year of the elephant was.
Me, I'm gonna go with
They
the
say,
traditional narrative
which
that's
is
570.
570.
But let's dance to your music for a second. That it hasn't like obviously because at the same time, as much as you're saying it has no value, it may have a value. Let's put my understanding of the elephant to the side there, and just
Sorry,
that
Joseph, I'm gonna have
narrative,
to mute your
the
mic.
year of the elephant. Yeah.
Yeah,
So we're either linking it to Abraha or we're linking it to King Caleb, right?
go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, cool. So if it's Abraha was made a general roughly 525, yeah, or he was a general roughly around them years, them periods, yeah. So he couldn't in phase one. What I'm saying, it couldn't have been him because he would have been a general because in the narrative he was a king when he took him in the Islamic narrative of the year of the elephant, him conquering the conquering bit. Abraha wasn't conquering at 525. His conquering started after 548. Yeah. So if we take the Caleb narrative, that literally X's out your whole premise because remember, it's King Caleb conquering and installing a bishop. If it's King Caleb, that was never a part of your story. So your story literally goes out the window in regards of King Caleb because that would mean he was still a general even in 535. He was still a general. Like we know him to be a king from 548 or circa 550 where we're not trying to freestyle or estimate right now. Yeah, cool. So if it's 550, the year of the elephant, then if we're gonna use Islamic narrative as well, because I can, because you are at the same time, you're taking like the name Muhammad Khuzai, yeah, that's from Islamic narrative. So that principle you're using, I'm gonna apply it as well to pull something out. Yeah, cool. So some Islamic narrators they say the Prophet was born in the year of the elephant. Some say 15 years, some say 30. Correct.
Mm-hmm.
So if that was 550 AD, 30 years before that would make it
520.
520. Yeah. So that means he got his revelation. When did the Prophet 520? Yeah, so that means he would have been, yeah, because the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, got his revelation at 40. And 40 is actually, generally speaking, the age of like prophethood, priesthood, and all them things where you can be into spiritual systems like gatherings and all these things. That's the age according to
Okay,
what I know.
so what's the point you're trying to make? Let's just get
What
to the
I'm
point.
trying to make is that your Muhammad, if he is so we got a Abu Qasim, we've got a date from 548, Remember, the Prophet Muhammad become a messenger at 40. So if we take 30 years from 548, that will be 518, 520, 518 where we're starting. I mean, stuff for now. What am I talking about? So 550 take away 40 will be 30 will be 520. Yeah, I'm correct. So I don't know why I'm thinking 40. It's still not making sense because it's 40 where you got the revelation. You're gonna have to explain that.
So,
And
all right,
there's many
let me
more.
let
No,
me
no,
let
no.
me
There's
let
many
me
more. Bro.
let me let me
That's
let
not
me
the
do that for
smoke.
you.
That's just a few questions. Don't
All right.
ever think that's the smoke.
So all right, I think I've done a show on this basically before, and I showed about the topos of 40, meaning that scholars have already gone through this and showed that this is a topos, meaning 40 is the age of fulfillment. 40 this, 40 that, 40 this.
Yeah.
It's not literal. The number is not should never be taken literally. It's just
Okay.
you find 40 as the age of fulfillment of being complete, can mean full and so forth. It's
Okay,
just
no
something that's
problem.
being used. But
So
I would need to, you know what I would want to do is point you in the direction of the article, read it, and then come back again and you can formulate better
no, I hear you.
questions.
I hear you. Boom. Cool. So back to Abu Qasim, because he's really critical in this one,
All right, come on.
Is he?
You're going to have to be quick with it because I've got Jose Francis that's been waiting
Yeah.
for a hot
Cool,
minute
cool.
to jump
So
jump
I'm
in.
gonna be
So
quick with it still.
yeah, but keep your mic muted still,
The author,
Jose,
the
because
author of the
let me
Quran,
finish.
basically, technically, you're saying it's Abu Qasim, right?
I haven't made that claim.
Cool. So Surah 48:18, where it says the people pledged allegiance to the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Who is this people?
I don't know. I don't have a Quran in front of me to know.
Cool. What I'm saying is, and what is the claim, is that it's the Sahaba, it's the companions of the Prophet, where they were making the pledge of Al-Ridwan, after the Battle of Hudaybiyah or something like that, or something. Something to do with Uthman, like that there was rumors of him being killed.
Okay, so let me just stop you because I need to understand the point of this. So, number one, you're saying, so I've shown you that Abu Qasim in the Marib Dam is equivalent to Ibn Isak's saying that Muhammad was crowned with Abraha and blah, blah, blah. I've showed you that is
Muhammad Khuzai
Muhammad bin Khuzai,
not Muhammad ibn Abdullah.
Cool. So we've shown you that is the case, right? You're happy. You're happy with that. But I thought your problem was with Abu Qasim, like the name Muhammad, name being Abu Qasim,
no,
being the same thing.
I know my problem is Muhammad ibn Abdullah. What you're
That's what I'm saying. So Muhammad ibn Abdullah, you've got a problem with him being called Abu Qasim, not with him. Hold on, let me just finish. Not with him being called Abu Qasim, but it meaning archpriest versus it meaning father of distribution.
No, it's two different words because the in context of what you're saying, it has to be Qasim. This is where you find the word in Surah 582. That is the equivalent of the Qasim. It's just that the N and M is different. But the Qasim is even the way I'm pronouncing it. So you gotta add the pronunciation to it. But the Qasim or the Qasim of the Prophet Muhammad. I'm talking about his distribution, which you find in the Quran. You find that word in the Quran.
Okay, so you're saying that when the Arabs or whoever the people called him, when the people called him Abul Qasim, you're saying it means father of distribution. No, like what are you saying actually? What does it mean?
I'm saying, to my understanding, this is something like a biblical name or a name that they've put on him, or it's a name that he's known by, but it's not what you're saying at all.
Okay,
Because if that was what you're saying,
so hold on, let me get clarification.
Hassin would be there.
So it's definitely not what I'm saying, okay? But it is all this. It could be all these other random stuff.
With Muhammad ibn Abdullah, with Muhammad
yes,
Muhammad
ibn Abdullah.
You're bang on correct.
Okay, cool. But Muhammad ibn Abdullah, what does his title Abul Qasim mean? What does it mean?
Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him.
Yes, sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
It means the father of distribution, or the father of the division, or the divider.
Father of the division. Okay, so that's what you think it means. Is it to do with his son at all?
I don't know. It could be. It might not. It might have all come after his son. It might have come before his son. I don't know, but it's not what you're saying.
Okay, so it could be father of distribution, or it could be father of his son Qasim.
Yes, etymology meaning. Yes.
Okay, cool. But it definitely could not mean father. Sorry, it could definitely not mean archpriest, right?
It can't. You have to literally pin a allegation on them and say, fam, they switched it up. That's your only option. You can't say it means Qasim, that the distribution. You can't say it means Qasim. It don't. Qasim is the Arabic version of the word Qasim.
I'm not saying it's an Arabic word. I'm saying it's exactly what it is. It's a Sabaik word, Abu Qasim. That's me. I'm saying if I was to read this, that's what I was saying.
Let's really read it like literally how it's read. Like obviously, I haven't got a problem with Abu Qasim.
It would mean father.
Hold on a second. Hold on.
Perfect, Jose. Come on in, my guy.
What's up?
What's good? Talk to me.
I have to say this, Kalam. This is the most civilized, respectful, disrespectful argument I've ever seen in my life. I don't know how to take it. Big cultural difference.
Yeah.
Same disrespectful thing in a respectful way. And I don't know how to take it.
Yeah, sir.
It's just a weird UK thing for me. I don't know how to take that. Because you're looking at me and saying, what do you mean by that? And he's responding aggressively in a slow tone. You can't do that, brother. Or you have to raise your voice sometime, man.
Oh, gosh.
Too soft and too calm for me. You have to raise your voice, speak with a little bit more authority.
Yo, so Kalam.
Yeah.
Back to what we're saying now. So what I'm saying is very important. I'm not denying that they would you see the terminology Abu Qasim. I'm not denying it's different from the one on the inscription. But if we read it from the inscription, it's Qasim Abba. Correct?
Yeah.
Yes. Cool. So him being called Abu Qasim, the Qasim is the bit I'm talking about. It's two different words again. So even the link you're trying to make, even though I get what you mean, 1,000,000% I get what you mean with the son or the bar being in front or in front or behind there. I get what you mean, but it's two different names, two different meanings.
Yeah, 100%. So I'm going to concede, right? You're going to be winning on the argumentation if we say that, listen, if we say Abu Qasim with relationship to the Prophet Muhammad of Islam, right?
Yeah.
It clearly, the Arabic, Razm, the consonantal text, basically has Qasim as meaning distribution, right? That's what it means. Okay.
No, but in the Quran, you find this word in the Quran in multiple places.
But the word I'm saying, regardless of it being in the Quran, that's what it means in terms of the Arabic language, right? Qasim means distribution or whatever the case.
Yes.
Yeah? And I'm going to agree with you and say, yeah, you're right. You're 100% right. That's what it means. Okay.
Yeah.
But my argumentation is this, which I haven't remember, I didn't even choose to make this argument. Remember, this is not even my argument. But if I was to make the argument,
I kind of know what you're gonna say, which is literally your only option. But go on.
yeah, my only option is saying that this is an artifact from the original Muhammad, right? It's an artifact, such as, for example, we have the term Ibn Abi Kabsha, right?
Yeah.
Which is another artifact of a title given or name given to the Prophet Muhammad that people don't know what it means. Okay, when you go into the Maghazi literature, you find him called Ibn Abi Kabsha. And like, what? We've never heard this name before. Like, what? You mean he's the son of the father of Kabsha, but he's father? Like, what does it mean? They don't understand. They themselves. So that gives an indication that this is an artifact because they don't understand what it means. So this must go back, or this has a possibility of going back to an ancient time where they never invented it, right?
Yeah.
So the same with the word for me. Yeah, this is my hypothesis now. Abul Qasim is in the same line of that there is this terminology that Muhammad is being called, but they don't understand its meaning, right?
Yeah.
They don't understand its meaning. They understand it has a significance, clearly, because how they try to do an apologia for it within inside of the Hadith literature, right? But they don't understand the meaning. And how I know that they don't understand the meaning is because, number one, to explain it, they have to invent a child for him called El Qasim, okay? The distributor. They had to invent that child, okay? And after inventing that child, they now had to tell.
Bear in mind, that's your claim, you know.
That's my claim. That's my claim. Because I didn't want to discuss this because, like, again, as I said, there's certain levels I don't really want to go because, you know, I'm just trying to be a nice guy. But if you really want to push me and really, you know, question how much I know about this Islam stuff, I will show you. Okay. So they invented this guy, this child. Then they had to kill off the child in order to make it fit in with what the Quran says, that he has he's not the father of few men, right? So all of his male children have to die. That's another one, right? Then they had to say, Muhammad said, do not call yourself by the only name. He says, you can call him by all my other names and titles. All my other names and titles, right? You can call me Muhammad, you can call me Masih, you can call him all these names that he has, right? But Abul Qasim, you can't use that as a kunya. Why? Then they want to say it's because of his child, Qasim, that died. Let me show you. Let me do this. Let me do this. I'm going to do one better. Am I sharing my screen? Yeah, I'm sharing my screen. So they want us to believe that Qasim.
So let me ask you a question, Kalam. Mm-hmm. Isn't there a belief that Quranic Arabic is different from the other Arabic that they speak?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Now, but how do they come to the conclusion that you could see one word in the Quran, and when you speak it, it's a different word? What makes the Quranic Arabic different? Is that a real thing, or did somebody make that up? Just ask it.
Yeah, no, that actually, because obviously there is modern English, and then there is, Old English. It's the same principle, basically. Words have evolved and changed throughout the times. Bless me. But let's quickly just do this quickly, yeah? So you have Qasim, right here, Qasim ibn Muhammad. He was supposedly born, bless me, 598, and died 601, okay, age 3. This is, let's round it up. This is 10 years before Muhammad even is supposed to have even received prophethood. So they make up a child that they had to kill off, right? And you're saying that Muhammad is saying...
I even makes your case worse, but go on.
Yeah, and then they're saying that don't call yourself by my kunya. Why? Because of your dead child. Like, you had another child. So you're telling me that the Arabs can't call themselves Abu Qasim. What's about Abu Abdullah? Or Abu Ibrahim? Or Abu Zainab? Or Abu Ruqayya? Or Abu Khultum? Or Abu Fatima? Like, it doesn't make sense when you...
Question is, how many times was he called Abu Qasim? How many times can we find this name being mentioned?
Very rarely.
Go on.
Very rarely you find it
mentioned. Exactly. So what is the importance to this name? Because I'm not saying there's no importance to it.
Well,
I'm just saying it's not what you're saying.
well, the Arab hadith makers, they understood that this name had an importance, right? Because they saying don't call yourself by this name, right? You can call yourself by all of Muhammad's names, but do not call yourself by Abul Qasim, right?
Just
And
remember, your
Hold-
guy's called Qasim Abba. I'm not denying it can be Abu Qasim. I just have to repeat that again.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
your guy's called Qasim Abba. Yeah? Abu Qasim. The Qasim, if we take away the Abba and put both of the Qasims together, that Qasim you're saying is not just a mere name, bro. It's a title, it's an office.
Yeah.
The Qasim I'm saying is like a messianic title. Like, it's not as it's a nickname in a way, yeah.
So my question to
The
you is,
Qasim you're
hold on.
talking about is an office of
Hold on. So my question to you is he when they call him Abu Qasim, is it because he's the father of Qasim, or is it because it's a messianic title?
I personally can't say if it is either both, but if I had to pick, I'll definitely pick the messianic title, because the Jews, before the birth of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, during the birth, I think when he was a baby, when the Jews saw the star in the sky, and I think they went to his grandfather and asked him, is your son called Muhammad? Basically, the mere fact that their people was called Muhammad. So people are watching. You may have mad superstitious people in the community that are watching out for signs. So, like for example, the Mahdi to come. If you're called Muhammad, I think Muhammad Abdullah or something like that, yeah, you're the Mahdi. People are gonna say, that's the names of the Mahdi. So if you're living a certain life and if you're fulfilling, then people would ask like, "Raw, you get me?" Like, that's basically what I'm saying. So there was more than one Muhammad. Yeah.
So what I'm going to say to you is this, right? I'm going to choose, and I'm going to choose to believe, right? You can be right, but I could be wrong. But which argument is much more convincing? Okay. I'm choosing to say, that this is an artifact that the people didn't understand themselves, that actually goes back to the Sabaic language, right?
Yeah.
And it means archpriest. That is going to be my claim. And my justification for that claim is because
and another thing.
Hold on. Let me finish, right?
Okay.
We know that the Prophet spoke different languages, right? Well, specifically, he spoke Ga'ez or Ethiopic, right? We know that. The scholars are not shy to tell you that that's one language out of all the language that people talk about. We know that he spoke Ga'ez. Cool. We know that he said certain words in Ga'ez, right? We know that there's certain words in the Quran that has been Arabized, meaning it came from Ga'ez, but they've Arabized it within inside of the Quran, right? We know that, for example, Waraka utilized a Greek term, nomos, but it's now become Arabized as an Arabic word.
So then what about Qasim then?
Hold on, let me finish, right?
Go on, Bashi.
We now know that it's been Arabized, to be the Namuz, right? Which now they say that's the Archangel Gabriel, right? So cool. So I'm saying, is it not possible that the early people who are hearing these stories heard about Abu Qasim from the southern Arabians, right? For example, or wherever. Yeah, they're hearing Abu Qasim. They've taken it on to call their prophet Muhammad Abu Qasim as well. But because they don't understand the language, they Arabize it, because we know that Qasim is found inside of the Quran, as you're saying. And now it becomes an Arabized word meaning distribution, right? Or father of distribution, or the father of the son of distribution, or whatever the case is. I'm simply saying it makes more sense to me that this was coming from, that side, meaning archpriest.
Yo, Kalam, your signal.
Okay.
Cool. Oh, yeah. Are you saying that Qasim in the Quran, is a Arabized version of Qasim in?
Nope, I'm saying it's an Arabic word.
So the Qasim in Ga'ez in Ethiopian, the Aksumite people, what is that an Arabic word?
Nope, it's actually a Syriac word, but go ahead.
What, the word found in the Ethiopians, with the Ethiopians?
Yeah, it's a loan word from Syriac that has been Ethiopianized. Yeah.
Okay, fair play. So,
Just like, for example, we have the word cafe, which is a French word, but it's in the English language and it's become anglicized. Yeah.
cool. So, is it fair to say that this is not a small boy office, it's a big boy office, right?
What, the being an archpriest? Yeah, 100%.
The Abba Qasim, right? So why in the Quran, in Surah 5, hold on, let me make sure, 582, it's in reference to the Christians and not him? Why is he not claiming it? Why? And we can't find it one claiming, because you gotta remember, yeah, at the end of the day, no matter how much we're trying to run away from the Quran, because I've deeped your argument, you've not really argued from a matter with the Quran as well. You're literally just sticking to a certain zone and not trying to. You have to go through the Quran. We are not ignoring that. We have to go through the Quran to prove your claim.
We said
So,
Quran 5 what?
If we go to the Quran.
5 what, sorry?
Can you hear me, yeah?
Yeah, but you said go to the Quran 528 though. While you're talking, I just wanted to... Huh?
582.
582, okay, cool. Go on, carry on. This is just me just doing random stuff while you're talking.
Basically, I'm saying that you have to, within your argument, you have to add Quran verses and proofs, because when people are doing it from a Bible's point of view, they're not just reading the works of church fathers, they're bringing in Bible works as well and analyzing it. So you can't just stay with inscriptions and Syria literature. No, you have to use Quran as well, and you've not used the Quran. So yeah,
but what would I need
when
to...
we go into the Quran, it's a total different narrative,
but what...
like left, right, and center.
What would I need to use the Quran for, though?
You would need to use the Quran to validate certain of your claims, even if you don't believe it's from God. You just need to. It's
so,
like, then what? That's what I said.
I have 3 claims.
Before.
Wait. Let me just...
Your Muhammad Quzay is like, you would have to put the Quran to the side. Like I said before, you do, because your argument, you're not using Quran verses, where another person may use Quran verses, artifacts, and hadith literature. So you're still not fulfilling the criteria.
Okay, so I have 3 claims. I have 3 claims, right?
Right.
My first claim is that there existed in Arabia, around circa 550, an individual underneath Abraha that the Muslims called, or Muslims historiographers called Muhammad, right?
Yeah.
That claim, I don't know if anybody wants to disprove it. They can try their hardest, but you can't, because it's in your own book, so you have to affirm it, right? Cool. My second claim is that this particular Muhammad, the original Muhammad, I'm going to now call him, was one and the same Muhammad as the Islamic Muhammad from the early narrators of Hadith. So let's give a cutoff point to roughly around 680 AD. Let me give a cutoff point. Let's be nice, actually. No, let me do a cutoff point of 690 AD. Let's be nice.
Yeah, cool.
I'm gonna say from 690 AD, or leading up to 690 AD, the Muslim historiographers and narrators were talking about one and the same Muhammad. That's my second claim, right?
Like 100 years ago, but that's a I have to laugh in my head, but anyway, go on. I'm listening. Go on.
My third claim is that this particular original Muhammad got metastasized. Okay.
What's that?
Meaning there was an outgrowth. There was the creation of the standard Islamic narrative and the suppression of the peripheral Islamic narrative, i.e. the Southern Arabians and what they had to say. Which then...
Kalam, is it fair to say that you're blatantly saying that the Quran was made by Arabs, like the Muslims themselves, that Muhammad, he didn't actually have anything to do, even the word Bismillah, it never come from him? Let's just say that that's what you're saying, because that's all I can understand what you're saying. Because if you're linking the Quran to that Muhammad, this is where we have to go into the Quran. You can't just link the book without reading the book. We have to read the book together.
And if you read the book, right, it's going to get even worse. Okay.
I have no problem. Let's go
So
into the book then.
before
the questions
before we
are
get into the book
serious.
here, I want to see if you understand my argument. So my argument, let's go to the second one. The second one, which is the original Muhammad and the Islamic Muhammad were one and the same prior to 680. 690, sorry.
Say that again. The Islamic Muhammad and the what?
The Islamic Muhammad, i.e. what we find in the Hadith literatures, was one
But
and the
what
same.
about inscriptions? So what about the Prophet Muhammad's
Inscriptions,
companions, his friends?
All the inscriptions. Do you know what? Let me even go a little bit further than 690. Well, let's even utilize what the first century after Hijri non-Muslims were talking about. And even them were talking about the original Muhammad. So we could even go to that. They're talking about the original Muhammad.
I can't hear you. Say that again. You broke up.
So even the first century after Hijri, non-Muslims that are talking about Muhammad or the Prophet with the Saracens and so forth, even them,
we can talk about that.
Even them were talking about
cool.
the original
it's not first,
Muhammad.
It really dates that we got the doctrine of Jacobi,
Yep.
which dates to 634.
Yep.
Yeah. So
all of those are talking about
that, but I'm not talking about that.
I know, but I want to lay that down for you.
Follow this man.
Yeah.
We can definitely go into the outside sources validating Prophet Muhammad.
Cool.
But I'm talking about his people now, yeah? Who is Uthman ibn Affan and who is Umar ibn Khattab? Were they Christians?
Boy. I'll tell you they're all Christians here, but until you get to Abdul Malik, and even even after Abdul Malik, we'll have to even be questionable. But anyways, let me just stop there. I want you to stop. Just hold tight for a hot minute. Hold tight for a hot minute, right? Because you're saying you wanted to jump into the Quran. Okay, so
I can't hear you. You broke up quickly.
You're saying you want to jump into the Quran.
Yes, we have to go into the Quran to fully validate. We can't just shy away from it. No way.
So before we go into the Quran, what about the Quran is going to verify or falsify anything that I'm saying?
Basically, cool. Before we even step into the Quran, who do you think? Because we actually need to know what you think, because you know what I think. So what are you saying? That he never produced the Quran?
So we know that in 690 something, Abdul Malik compiled the Quran a second or even third time. Prior to Abdul Malik, you have Uthman, which is the Uthmanic Codex, is said to have compiled the Quran.
So Abdul Malik compiled.
So you have Uthman. Yeah, so you have Uthman and Abdul Malik both are said to be the compilers of the Quran.
Yeah, okay.
When you go back into it, you see that there is a particular Ansari individual. I think it's Zayd ibn Thabit or something along those lines. There was a committee basically, and they gathered up materials. So they gather up leaves and stuff, whatever cases, and inscriptions and all these other things in order to create the Quran.
Yeah.
Okay. So is it possible that works of the original Muhammad, or works of whatever you want to call it, the original Muhammad or Islamic Muhammad, made it into that compilation? Yes. Is it possible works outside of the original Muhammad or Islamic Muhammad made it into the compilation? Also, yes. Is there possibility that there was redactions and editing that took place in order to formulate the Quran?
Mishmash, I can't lie to you.
Do you know what? Do you know what it is? Hold on. Before you go into that,
Birmingham, the Sana manuscripts. Who was the author behind them stories? The stories behind it. Who produced that? Who is the originator of it? I'm not talking about who gathered up and put their little parchment.
I hear what you're saying.
Where did they get their storyline from?
Okay, now, brother, I hear what you're saying.
Did they make it up, or did they hear it from so-and-so? Okay. Or did they get it directly from so-and-so?
All right. So there is the religious answer that I can give to you. But unfortunately, this channel is not about religion. It's about
Of course,
academic
no. Of course, we're
studies.
not gonna give religious answers.
So this is what I'm going to do. Let me see, because you're here right now. I'm going to type in right now, Quranic studies.
I can't hear you. I can't hear you. You broke up.
Okay. I'm typing in Quranic studies, right?
Yeah.
And let's see. The first one is Edinburgh University Press, Journal of Quranic Studies. And I will point you to these, to these journals, that's written by academia. Let's see if we can find something on books. Wait there, 1 second. Books.
Can I ask a brother question?
Hold on 1 second before you ask him the question. There you go. Angelica Newirth. She's like the head, basically. She's leading in the academic side of things in terms of Quranic studies. If you go and read this, right? Let's just quickly read through the content page. Wansborough's theory of varying traditions in the Quran, Quran stuff. Go through, read what they are saying on how the Quran was compiled, what they know right now. Because what you're asking me, I'm explaining it to you, but you're not going to be satisfied until you read academic papers to understand what I'm saying.
Well, fam, if you're saying it's Abdul Malik, I have zero problem with that. I think you're thinking I would have a problem with that. I don't know why you would think that.
No, I'm not saying that you should have a problem with it. I'm saying it's known.
I haven't got a problem with it.
It's known. Like
what
this is
saying is that he definitely got it from Uthman. That's why it's linked to him. But that'll be another subject, innit? But go on, let's put it on him, innit?
Okay. So all of this stuff is being attributed to Muhammad, right? The Codex of Uthman is being attributed to Muhammad. We don't have a signed copy of the Quran saying I Muhammad ibn. We don't have a signed copy of the Quran saying I Muhammad ibn Abdullah wrote this and signed these names. Right. So I can't tell you that this came from Muhammad. I'm just simply saying it's attributed to Muhammad. And we know who the compilers are, etc.
So you see Imam Malik, you see in his Muwatta, when he's quoting the words from the Quran, where did he get that from? What the Uthmani Codex? Are you gonna force that on him?
He would have. There was loads of codexes that was out. You have to.
Exactly.
Do you know what I'm going to say to you? Like, this here is going to be tiresome to do. What I would encourage you to do is just look for academic books and academic journals called Quranic Studies. Or the historical Quran. Anything to do with history and Quran or Quranic studies.
But there was 1,000,000% oral preservation. 1,000,000%.
That is the propaganda that you've been fed.
No, it's not propaganda because that's blatantly in Imam Malik's book. You can see.
Okay, so
that, let's say if he didn't get it from the Uthmani
why I would
Codex,
say that is that if
you know what? Furthermore, how do you know he got it from a codex? That's even a good one. Who said he got it from a codex?
Okay, so you would learn when you start doing this, you will learn that there were different codexes that were sent out to different cities, such as Medina, such as wherever else. Imam Malik is a faqih or one of the greatest faqihs of Medina. So they will have access to that particular codex, right? But then you will learn that there are other people with different codexes that were even...
it's amazing. So what does Imam Malik say where it comes from? That's the bit you're rejecting. It's amazing what you're saying, because at the same time, it has its source, it has its origin.
The source is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam.
It's going back to an individual,
that's the religion, but I'm going to try to make you understand. That's the religious answer. That's the religious answer, okay?
Yeah, but who said the religious answer is wrong, though?
All right, let me ask you a question, Let me ask you a question.
Go on.
Where did you get your Quran from?
Where did I get my Quran from?
Was it from Allah or from Muhammad?
Hold on, wait.
Or give me another answer.
Hold on a second. Say that again.
Your Quran, where does it come from?
The Quran I have is the publication.
Go ahead. See, now you're becoming more studious. Go ahead.
What does that word mean?
Is the publication of where? Of who?
what's it, King Faisal or something. I got the Arabic book, you know, so I haven't got the English I got the English translation, but it's in.
Cool. So you realize that that is coming from a particular codex, right?
Yeah, I get what you mean. Yeah, go on.
All right. So I'm just trying to show you that because the religious answer is, I got my Quran from Muhammad, who got it from the angel Gabriel, who got it from Allah. That would be the religious answer. But the actual answer is, no, where did you get your copy of the Quran from? Oh, it's a copy. Oh, yes, it's a copy of the Quran. Okay, so where did this copy of the Quran come from? It came from a publication company. Where did the publication company get it from? They got it from the committee of blah, 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 blah. Where did that come from? That came from the codex of such and such. Where did that come from? That came from the Hafs reading or the Walsh reading of this, which comes from blah, 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 blah. Where can we trace it back to? Okay?
Yeah.
So I'm not going to tell you that your Quran came from Muhammad. I'm going to say it has been attributed to Muhammad. And then when you go, you understand the propaganda that they lied to you to say that it has been perfectly preserved through oral preservation. And it's impossible that it could be properly preserved through oral presentation if not all, but if a lot of the so-called Sahabas had different codexes, or the Tabi'in had different codexes that mean different things.
You just said where I want to go back to. You said it's attributed to the Prophet Muhammad, correct?
Correct.
So now we're going back to it. Are you saying it's Abu Qasim? Remember, this Muhammad is the big don. He's the big whatever. He's venerated. I'm not getting it.
I would say to you, yeah, if we're going by the early hadith, people, yeah, they say it goes back to Muhammad.
Why are you not going to
Hold on. I'm telling you, I'm giving you the answer.
Your argument is not valid.
Listen to the answer.
In that paradigm.
Listen to the answer.
It's not valid. You can't, because that's why the Prophet Muhammad is who he is, because of the Quran, because of the book. It being made by him or not is attributed to that man. That's his work rate. Yeah. Even if you put in one verse, okay, cool, it's attributed to him, unless you're going to say it's attributed to flipping Dawood ibn Kafir, for example.
Okay.
Then yeah, cool, innit? You're saying it's someone different, but you're saying it's Muhammad ibn Abdullah.
Yes.
So we need to get to the bottom of this.
So let's go to it. So as I said, yeah, it's attributed to Muhammad ibn Abdullah, which I am saying that the early historiographers were talking about the other Muhammad, right? The Abu Qasim Muhammad. So you could technically say the Muslim historiographers did attribute it to the one that I'm talking about. Yes.
But let's go into the Quran and let's see.
Cool.
Cool.
Can I ask my question, Kalam?
Yes, ask your question.
I want to ask your brother a question. If we're having a historical debate, is the Quran considered a historical book or a religious book?
Beg your pardon?
I said, if we're having a historical debate, is the Quran considered a historical book or a religious book?
It's got history in it, but it's considered a religious book. That's like with the Bible. The same way the biblical scholars and the critiques will go into the Bible and its passages and will say this is a contradiction, based on, then they'll use outside sources. So we're not going to shy away from the Quran, because I've actually, I'm seeing what's going on. Like, we've not stepped into that book yet. We're just talking about Syria literature and inscriptions, artifacts, but we've not gone into the book itself, because remember, Kalam is saying Abraha is responsible for the Bismillah Rahman Rahim. He's technically gone into the Quran without him knowing. Right. So we might as well just go in it then.
Okay. Here's my response to that, right? If you look at books like the Bible and the Quran, they are considered more ahistorical than historical. The Bible has one story that they can say that they can say is history, and they use Kemet to prove that was history.
But is it fair to say that people do when they're critiquing biblical history or whatever? Because you got to remember, some people say the practice of the Passover and etc. These are pagan practices, and they'll use the Bible to date it, and then they even say that Deuteronomy is the first biblical written book. How did they come to the conclusion of that without analyzing the text? We must analyze the text before we start critiquing anything. But I see what's going on. We're staying in Syria literature. Let's go into the Quran, man.
But you do realize.
Let's go. No, but can me and Callum get back into this? Because this is diverting from, I want to go into some Quran verses. You know what I'm saying?
Well, Kalam, if I'm not contributing, I'm just going to get off the panel because I'm not really contributing. I can't contribute in any meaningful way. So let me get off the panner, right?
I need you to contribute, man. How you mean?
No. We need to talk, Callum.
You guys talking over my head. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh,
no, but
God.
It's not to do with this topic right now. It's swayed in from the topic. It literally is. I don't want to talk to you.
But you just asked him a question.
I don't want to talk to you. I want to talk to Callum.
Well, Kalam.
Respectfully speaking.
Kalam, the brother just asked you a question.
Yeah.
And he tried to interject the Quran, and it's not a historical book.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think.
That's swayed him from me and his topic, bro. That's swayed. That's
I'm talking to Kalam. You say you don't want to talk to me. I'm talking to Kalam.
I don't want to. Let me mute my mic. Let me not even be. You lot are talking together. I'm not gonna entertain your question. So,
but I'm talking to Kalam. You don't have to.
Yeah, go on.
Okay. By the same rate, I want to just say that we have actually diverted from the original topic of the show.
Well, I'm going there. If I'm gonna be a distraction, I'm going because the brother don't want me to say that he's being hostile. So I'm gonna leave. I don't want to say I'm making the brother hostile. Or he was having a good conversation. I'm just ruining a good conversation. So, not talking about this time. I'll come back.
Hold on. Let me just say this, yeah. Remember that let me see the title of the show. Clickbaity. Muhammad found in Abyssinia, unlocking the mystery of the Marib Dam inscription. Okay, so that's really and truly where we were going with this conversation.
No, there was a Muhammad ibn Qazay.
Okay,
that was crowned, and he's Abu Qasir. Yeah, I believe that, but not Muhammad ibn Abdullah. No,
all right,
him.
Cool. You wanted to go in the Quran, right?
Yeah.
And you know what? Go on. I will do one line of the Quran with you. Give me the first line of the Quran.
Cool. So let's go and sort out. Cool. Before I go into this verse, I want to ask you the question, which is to do with the verse. Yeah. What are you saying? Proto-Islam was Christianity.
Proto-Islam. Let me give you the definition. Actually, let me give you the definition of Proto-Islam. I wonder. Actually, no. Let me see if I can Google it first, because I was going to go to a book. But let's see if we can find Proto-Islam. Proto-Islam. Proto-Islam refers to the various religious beliefs and practices that existed in pre-Islamic Arabia, which seen by some as a precursor to. That's not where. Nope, that's not what it is. Okay, let's go to books. Let's see if we can find something. No, Proto-Russian, Proto-Muslim. Let's see if this is anything. Nope. Okay, cool. Let me actually go to the proper definition of what a proto. Oh, sugar. Imagine that. I'm actually not showing what I'm supposed to be showing. 1 second. Where are we? Boom. And we will go. So many books.
Big up. What's up? Yes.
Big up, family. How y'all doing? There I go. My mic working now.
Come on. You done though? Come on.
No.
Salaam alaikum, brother Allah. Salaam alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Akhi kefalik.
Salaam alaikum, Asa. No. I was salaaming, brother Allah, but you too. Salaam alaikum, man. You done though? Come on.
I was going to find it. I can't even find it on my thing, Can you imagine?
I have an echo, and I'm on my phone, and I'm hearing both my YouTube and my phone.
Yeah, you're going to have to sort that one out. That one's on you. Let's see. Okay, cool. Here it is.
Then you come to save Callum quickly, I saw.
Here it is.
Come to save him quickly.
Watch it. So what about the animals and the different pieces of paper and the trees that the Quran was written on? Did you guys cover that yet?
No, not yet. Okay, so over here, I'm going to read it out to you what Proto or Paleo-Islam is. I hope this should be it. It will be suggested in what follows that the emergence of Allah and his promotion to indivisible, primacy during the lifetime of Muhammad and thereafter was largely an indigenous process that eventually utilized biblical paradigms in very complex ways as conceptual and mythetic schemata of scripturalist redaction, which were nevertheless to remain fairly fragmentary and not altogether consistent during this period. In terms of religious history, I propose to call this period Paleo-Muslim and its religion Paleo-Islam. So, the religion that was, or what was there during the time of Muhammad in his lifetime, I'm going to call that Proto-Islam or Paleo-Islam. That's how they define it. There is better definitions than that basically talks about just the period before Muhammad came about. What was going on in Islam,
cool.
in Arabia was called
So
Paleo
they are
Islam or
not
Proto
gonna
Islam.
say it's Christianity, I like.
No, they're gonna say they're gonna call it Proto Islam, but it is Christianity, yeah.
Yeah, but in Surah 2, 135, yeah, it says say be Jew. They say be Jews or Christians, then you will be guided. Yeah, say nay, only the religion of Ibrahim, Hanif. So this is not Christianity or Judaism. This is Hanif, what they were following according to the text, because whoever was talking to the prophet, they were telling him be Jews, and some people have said be Christians. Whoever was talking to the person who wrote the text, the people were telling him
What
to be
chapter are we going
Jews.
at?
Surah 2, 135.
Okay. 2-1-3-5. Let's just do that.
And I'm not sure that Jews would surrender to bishops, but go on.
And they said, be Yahudi or Nasrara, which is being translated as Christians.
Yahudi, you know, is Jews.
Yep. And you will be guided. Say, nay, the religion of Ibrahim, the pagan, and not
Hanif.
he was of the mushrikun. Pagan.
I don't know if Hanif means what you're saying.
It means pagan.
Sure, because I've seen it before, but I want to see how sure you are. Go on.
What's that?
For sure, because right after
How
it follows
sure are you that Hanif means pagan?
I'm positive.
It means mushrikeen. How sure are you?
It says he was not a mushrikun.
Yeah, but then you said Hanif mean a mushrikun is a pagan.
No.
The practices of a mushrikun is a polytheist, which is deemed as a pagan. Yeah. So what is a Hanif? No. Is that a mushrikeen? Because the verse said he wasn't a mushrikeen.
Yeah. I think Hanifa, because you got the school of Hanifa, is going to be a Hanif believer in that way, meaning that he follows that particular madhab from the Hanifa. But I think what we know, Mushrikeen is basically an idol worshiper, or what they would consider pagan.
But you see the Hanif bit where I'm asking for, yeah? I'm not saying it needs to be literally attributed to Abraham. What I'm saying is that the person who provided the Quran, he's saying, yo, I'm from the Hanif, yo. Like all this Christian bishop, like, it's not that, because he's linking himself to the Hanif. He's saying, hey, Hanif. He's not saying, yay, Christian. We can't find that.
Yeah, I'm not sure Hanifa were Christian at that time, but what you can do, we need to find out who he came from. Like if he's from Al Jassar, I want to say the Christian king who converted to Islam, then we know he's a Christian. If he's from some other clan, we need to see what clan that's from. But Hanifa had a lot of King Joshua's people convert.
Cool. So you see Surah 48:18. Yeah, it's safe to say that you don't know who pledged allegiance.
We're jumping too far, yeah. We're jumping.
It's still to do with. Come on,
we
man.
are jumping. We know the
Hanifa. It's to do because it's either you lot are saying that these verses don't mean nothing, yeah? Because I have to get a conclusion, because it's like we're jumping too far. It's like we're not trying to go into the book itself.
Do you know why we're jumping too far?
Are you saying there's no history. Like even when it says or like debates going on in the Quran, are you saying even with the story of the Dhul Qarnayn, who you say is Alexandra, which is not, is Cyrus the Great, because in the Arabic Bible, Dhul Qarnayn is Ba'al Qarnayn, but that's another story for another day. These are debates you find debates going on in the Quran. So who are they debating against? And if we can establish who, this is where we can know what's going on and expound on the situation. But if we're just saying is this and that Sarah and not entertaining anything in the book itself, your argument is weak. It is, bro. And anyone that would see it being strong is 1,000,000% a Christian with a bias against Islam. Or
Okay.
it has to be a new Muslim with doubts, because if
Okay.
you have no doubts, if you know your thing, you know what you're saying is easy work to
So,
break down. Like,
so do
I
this.
can't lie
Show
to
us
you.
that second verse
We
that would
have to
show
go
that
into
the
the book
hadith is.
before we entertain anything else. Because if we don't go into the book, then
Well,
you
Okay.
have
hold
to
up,
just come with
hold
a
up, brother,
conclusion why you're
hold up,
not
brother.
going into it.
Yeah, but you're going
Go on, brother.
didactic on about him going in the book. See, you said that there's a verse below it that shows that he wouldn't be Hanif or something like that, or wouldn't be Christian. Read that verse. Let's see what it says.
There's many more verses like
All
that,
right.
but okay, let's go into it, innit?
Listen.
What's it?
Listen.
This one.
Let me just stop for a hot second, right? Because
Go on.
we're jumping into the Quran,
You might.
right? But
Right.
let me just get you guys to mute your mics, right? We're jumping into the Quran, which I'll be real with you, I haven't even prepared a show for that. And what I mean about preparing a show for that is you don't understand the Quran. That's number one. And I'm not, again, it's going to sound wild to people listening. Yeah. You don't understand the Quran because you don't understand it within inside of its historical context. You don't even understand it within inside of its actual language, furthermore. And I'm talking about everybody, me, myself included. Like, let's just put myself in that as well. But we're going to jump into this book and we're going to read it from the lens of Islam and Muslims. When we're doing this, we situate the Quran historically, the time frame. What is the chronological time frame are we placing the Quran? What is the cultural environment that the Quran is supposedly in? Once you understand all those things there, that's when we can really go into what the Quran is saying. Because I've brought up already to you guys the most simple thing, just one line of the Quran, which is the Bismillah or the Basmala. And that there, scholars have taken a long time to actually just come to tell you what that one verse means within inside of the historical context. And yet you want me to jump into the Quran on all these other things. Let's actually just, wait, let me just show you. Let's address the Basmala to just show you a quick thing. Why is Muhammad, and this is to you, Akan, why is Muhammad introducing into Northern Arabia, into Mecca, a South Arabian deity that is, during that time frame, specific to the Christians? Why is Muhammad introducing Rahman?
Rahman is not specific to Christians. It originates from the Jews.
Nope. I
Yes,
said
it does.
during that time period, why is
During
he
that time
introducing?
period, the Jews was using that name Rahman. It's even within their Talmud literature. Even the Ashkenazi, they've got prayers, that they say in their Sudo to Rahman.
Okay, let me go back to it. During that time period, why is Muhammad introducing? Remember that time period, a South Arabian.
It's still the
Hold
same
on,
time period with the Jewish
you're
inscription.
not listening.
You're still not making a point.
You're not listening. You're not listening.
Go on.
Okay, so let me try to make that make more sense to you.
Be careful. Go on.
Okay, during the time of Caleb, during the time of, let's say, Abraha, they were Christianizing the whole of the Arabian Peninsula. Okay. Their inscriptions are utilizing the term Rahman, and it's specifically Christianized, meaning the Christian deity, right?
Yeah.
So now, you can argue and say, no, he's introducing the Jewish conceptualization
Okay.
of Rahman.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But we know that he's introducing the Christian conceptualization of Rahman.
Okay.
And if you want to
Yeah.
argue that, it's like, I don't even have the time to even go through why it is the
Bear in
Christian.
mind the
Hold on.
other
Hold
day
on. Hold
you
on.
go.
Hold on. Yeah. I don't have the time here.
Let him finish, brother.
I'm gonna have to just point you to literature for you to understand that point. Because again, it's like I have to literally go back steps to get people to understand the basics. And it's like, I don't have the patience for it right now. Okay. So the question is, right, why is he introducing at that time period in South Arabia? This is a Christian deity he's introducing to the northern Arabs. Why is he doing that? Clearly he's getting it from the south. If it's not the Muhammad of Abraham, why is a North Arab introducing a South Arab thing? And it doesn't make more sense. It's the South Arab Muhammad who introduced it to the Northern Arabians. Which one makes more sense?
Cool. Yeah. Remember the other day when you said Abraham was uniting who? The Christians and the Jews, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Underneath the Rahman and all of that, the Messiah, like to come to a common understanding, correct?
Something like that. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So why would he unite the Jews if they didn't know who Rahman was?
We're not saying that the Jews don't know who Rahman is.
And another thing, that name Rahman in the Quran, why we should go into it, yeah, which you're running away from, that name is only mentioned by Israelite lineage. So not just Israelite lineage, but let's just say, let me explain. Abraham mentions this name, yeah? David, Abraham, Solomon, let me do it in order. Abraham, Aaron, Solomon.
All right, cool. That's
Mary,
fine. What's the point you're making?
Children of Israel, and the Christians at Antioch. Because remember, in Surah 36, the people of Yasin, some scholars say that's the Israelites of Antioch, right? Cool. Why is it not mentioned by any other like a South? Because it talks about South Arabian people in the Quran. None of the South Arabian here, or like the Arab prophets, like the Hud, Saleh, and all of them lot, yeah. It don't mention that name, bro. It's stuck with the Israelite lineage, yeah. In the South Arabian inscription, when it's talking about the Lord of the Jews, Rahman, yeah, it's within the same. If I'm wrong for 523. Dul Nuwas. This was before Abraham took it over. Dul Nuwas was using that name. So you saying Christian period or not is irrelevant. It's the fact of the name, the origin of the name. The origin, and the nature of it, and how it's being used. Because remember, when the Ethiopian Christians became Christian, they still got Judaic practices.
Stop. So my question, let me try to let me just accommodate you a little bit.
Go on.
Why is Muhammad introducing a South Arabian deity to Mecca? That's like, for example, hold on.
Israelite heritage. He's
for example, yeah. Why are you, a Ghanaian, like in Nigeria, introducing introducing Nyame to, the Yorubas who know God as Olu?
Oof.
Yeah? Like, let's just say let's just say, somebody in Ghana is now introducing Olu to you. What is your first thought? That's not indigenous to Ghana. Where is that coming from? Oh, that's coming from Yoruba land. Right?
So what about Amen? What about Amen in the Akan culture? That's not indigenous to that region. That's found in Kemet and Kush.
So then obviously it must have migrated. Somebody has brought it over, right?
Oh, so then same thing somebody brought over Rahman then, isn't it?
Exactly. So why is Muhammad?
Same argument.
So exactly, why is Muhammad the one introducing them? The Meccans say we don't acknowledge no Rahman. We don't know who no Rahman is. Yeah, that was their argument, right? That was their argument, right? But he's introducing a South Arabian deity to the Meccans. Why is that? How is he coming to that? If he never even left Mecca, even clearly, the more logical answer is, Yeah, this person is coming from South Arabia and introducing to the Northern Arabians a Al-Rahman and telling them their Rahman and Allah is the same person. That's what the scholars argue. This is not even my argument. I don't even argue this. This is what the scholars are saying. Yeah.
What scholars are saying? What scholars are saying? The
Ahmed
scholars saying he came from
Al-Jalad.
South Arabia.
Ahmed Al-Jalad does this. I can name
What he
you
says? What he
Aziz
says? The prophet came
Al-Azmeh.
from.
Do you know what?
What are they saying? He came from Yemen.
Let me share my screen quickly, yeah, because again, this is I'm saying like we need to get into like actual academic papers because having these conversation is a bit like it's long.
It's mad because I don't get it because you downplayed the Ibn Hisaq, but then you use it at the same time. You are picking and choosing, bro. No matter how much you think academics,
it's not picking and choosing.
Using their sources
it's what can we verify.
Choosing.
It's not picking and choosing.
You can't
it's what can we verify.
You can't say yours is real, ours is fake. You can't do that because you're using their sources. You are, bro. You have to use a different methodology.
Nope.
And on top of that, you're not using the Quran, so you're running away. You've not fulfilled the criteria yet, bro. You haven't.
But hold on, brother. You can't really use the Quran here yet.
You can, because
you
when
can't.
he
And
said,
I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why.
When
I'm gonna
Canon
tell you
said,
why.
Hold on. Mute your mics. Mute your mics. Mute your mics.
Said, who is the
mute your
Rahman?
mics. Sorry, mute your mics. Mute
Yeah,
your
but
mics.
you want to hop into a Quranic verse, but we're talking about how a word even got into the book. So we can't get to the book yet. We've got to decipher how this word even makes it to the book.
Hold on. Mute your mic. 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 Yeah. So I want to point you guys into like if you really want to go in the Quran, which this show was not about the Quran. Yeah, as I said, there's too much preparation work to do with that. Like, and I mean preparing you, like showing you stuff before you can even understand the Quran, right? So over here on the screen, I want you guys to go and download this from Cambridge University Press. It's a research article. It says Rahman before Muhammad, a prehistory of the first peace in Islam. Okay. Cool. Yeah, according to numerous classical Islamic traditions, the Meccans forced the Prophet Muhammad to admit the oath in the name of Allah, Al-Rahman, Al-Rahim, a defining feature of Islam from the Treaty of Hudaybiyah. So, like, go through this, read through it. Okay, I want you guys.
That's from Surah 25:6.
I want you guys to read this
to come with their claim.
That's fine. Go and download this, read it. Yeah,
but that's what I'm saying.
Afterwards, I'm just gonna
know where that. You see where they said, why are we worshipping this Rahman or whatever? You find that same thing you just said in the book. You're not trying to.
That's right. Into. It's in there. Okay, it's in there. And if you read this article, you'll find that it's in there. Okay, like I'm just gonna scroll through it.
I already knew it was in there before you read and
that's cool. That's cool. That's cool. But I want to bring you guys to academic papers. I want you to read these things, and then afterwards we can actually have good conversations once these articles actually read. All right.
But keep going. You know what I've got to ask you, my guy.
Wait.
Academia, yeah. I'm not downplaying
let me go through
1,000,000%. But are you saying we have to bow down to academia? Is that what you're saying? Because it can be wrong. They can be questioned. They can be critiqued. 1,000,000%.
Of course. But I'm saying to you, okay, I am not coming on here to have religious conversations. I'm coming on here to have academic conversations, historical conversations. Okay. And in order to have that with you guys, I need you guys to read academic papers.
And then can't we come with the conclusion for ourselves?
And you can come with
conclusion.
Listen, what did I do? I done a show today, right? I done a show. Hold on. Let me just show you what the show was, right? This is the show here. And I said scholars are at odds about the translated meaning. Is it to consecrate the church or celebrate mass? Is it the head of the congregation or father of the community or abbot of his monastery? Solution, let's apply the historical critical method. So I'm saying the scholars are wrong with their translations, right? And I propose my own translation based upon the historical methodology, based upon understanding canon law, based upon the provenance of the monument, based upon linguistics, and based upon corroborative historical contemporary literature. Okay, that's my argument. I'm giving you the rationale as to why I am proposing this translation. Okay, so I'm even saying the scholars are wrong and I'm right, and here's my reason as to why I'm right. I could be wrong, mind you. Okay, but that's the whole point of scholarship. You're able to is it falsifiable? Okay, this is my methodology. This is my conclusion. If you believe I'm wrong, okay, point out where I have made an error. It's the same thing, okay, with the academic papers I'm pointing you towards. Read it first, digest it, research it, go through the footnotes, and then you can give an argumentation as to why they are wrong if you believe you're right.
And you got to respect that because that's what we do, and we just kind of unraveled
So you see, you
the
see the name
scholars'
Hold on,
point
Muhammad, yeah.
hold on, I
that
can.
they were
Hold on,
doing
hold on, I can.
before
I
when
was
we were
talking.
talking about the Kemet point. So when they were saying that it's because of the black land, you see me, Smash, and Saber Reggie go in there and dissect it, and then they had to come back and say, yeah, it's probably because of the people, but we do have to protect our academia. See, so we can't fully oblige you here on your channel, but we can say this much so that you know that you're right. So yeah, I definitely respect what you're doing, and based off of the location you're taking it and the historical supposed record of King Najasser saving Muhammad in the first place and being where he was the king of Abyssinia, then it would make sense. So let's hear it. Let's see. Let's get down to it. Let me see what you're working with.
All right. My
Yo,
guy.
yo,
Go
Callum,
ahead. Yep.
you see, what did he say? Because before Asar was saying, um, what was he saying, man? Cause it quickly jogged off my brain quickly, man.
I was just
He
talking
was
about
saying based off
academia.
the academic paper that he's read, he believes they've translated it incorrectly, and he's
No, no,
proposing a new translation, and that's what we're
um,
about to witness.
no, yeah, this what I wanted to ask you, Callum. Boom, yeah. So, so I kind of had more, I forgot, but yeah, let me go to this. So, yeah, the Quran, yeah. Oh,
Let
oh
Kalam
Lord.
get to it, brother Khan. That way we can see what he proposes, and
I
then we can
forgot
run
what
the
I had to
critique.
say. You coming in, it jogged off my brain, man. This is
But
why
to
it's like
be
either some judge went on. You're lucky, you know, because I had a question for you, bro. Basically, yeah. At the end, let's just say this. Let's just say this, Callum, yeah. Your Muhammad had nothing to do with the Quran. Technically, I don't know why you're
Well,
shoving
let's
that
see.
book on him. You might as well shove it on Abdul Malik, bro. I swear down, bro. You're bet like, what has your Muhammad got to do with the Uthmanic code? That please explain to me, fam. Like, yeah, Abraham, Bismillah, yeah, all of that. I hear that, but what has that guy got to do with that book? Like,
Well,
explain, bro, because until we go into the book itself, it's still just claims, bro, not facts. I hear you're trying to bring out a black Muhammad. I respect that, bro, but you're still not. You've not made my heart tremble. I feel excited when you're talking because it's like I can get that. I can get. I'm not feeling pressured, bro. So
you
yeah,
got to give him a chance to actually break some stuff down so we can critique
but I
something.
have. I
You
have
haven't.
watched many
You got to let him
bare
get to it. He ain't
shows.
even got.
Bro,
He ain't got
he's
to the
got
gist of the show
hella
yet.
shows about this. And
He's got
even
shows
when I
about the
don't know,
description of
answering him and I'll be
Muhammad.
like, yeah, that's
He
a
has
good
not
argument.
got one
Because
show where he goes into the historical record of where he thinks Muhammad came from. So
bro,
let us
I've
get to
watched
that.
all the shows regarding it, bro. He has
I've
got
been
an
on a
argument, but
couple
just
of them
because he's got an
myself. I'm
argument doesn't
telling
mean
you.
it's the truth, no? It's
Well, we
something
got to
worthy
hear
of
it
arguing.
so
He
that we
has
could
got.
critique it. Right now, you just making a claim against him, but you got to hear his information first.
I
So let
have.
him get that out.
I'm telling you, I have. He knows I have.
What? Okay, what's he gonna say?
What are you talking about?
I'll tell you
You
what I'm
said
about
you
to
heard
say.
his argument. Tell us what he's gonna say before he says it.
I'm about to say it's 10 o'clock
I
right
don't
now
know
over
what you're
here in
talking.
the
I never said
UK.
I
Let me
know what
just
he's gonna
mute
say.
you guys.
You just said
So, sorry, I'm going to mute you guys, right? It's 10 o'clock, right? I've done this show now for 2 hours. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. I've put in my grind, didn't it? I've given you guys what I've come to give you guys. I got nothing more left to give, okay? In the sense that I've given you guys some information already. Go and research it, read it, and then come back and formulate more questions that we can actually get into something good. That's all I've got left to say. Unmute your mics if you want and say something because I'm tired now.
So what I want to see is, because you could be right. I believe most of these are built off the Kabra Nagast in the first place. You've heard me say this a million times. You watch me tell the Hebrew Israelites, go build a new Bible off of the Kabra Nagast and off of some of the Apocrypha texts, because the one you have is not sufficient. So knowing that King Najasser gave them refuge when the Quraysh came to kill them, to me, most of it, them mixing information with Christianity would probably be a yes. Because number one, if he didn't agree with Muhammad, he was going to kill him himself or let the Quraysh kill him. So he had to say something Christian to touch his heart. And then those texts starting to come forth, and Medina, they say Medina had more knowledge than Mecca anyway, for quite some time. So knowing that, and knowing that Najasser and most of them were in Medina as opposed to being in Mecca, it would make sense that a lot of Christian influence probably hit these texts. The question for me is, I want to see what you bring forth, you know, because I'm assuming you're going to go outside the Arabic a little bit and get into one of their original languages and start to peel and pluck so we can see what's really going on.
Jeez.
And that's what I want to see.
Hey.
So we
You know what? Personally, yeah, I don't even secretly I don't even want to do no more shows until everybody's caught up, you know, to be honest with you. I've done several shows already, and until everybody's caught up, I'm like, what more? What else? What other ways can I say the same thing again to you guys? So I'm ready to kind of keep it moving. Okay.
Here's a question.
Go ahead.
Here's a question. What Quraysh around the Nasser and that kingdom's family around that time do you think Muhammad would be attributed to?
See, this is where I'll get in trouble, yeah. So number one.
See, I know you got this in your head and in your set with what you're doing, because you telling us he black. So now we got to get a historical figure to represent him.
Yeah.
So who do you, if you're not comfortable saying it, we'll give you the pass today, you know, but who do you suspect he was either around group wise amongst Najasser's people, or in particular, like, is he a Coptic?
Okay, so in terms of the original Muhammad, he's a Christian. He's a Christian. What denomination is up for the debate right now? What exact denomination he was? So I'm not going to answer you on that. What else? What else did you say?
Who? So you say he's a Christian.
Yep.
Now coming out of that clique, like, is he a Natufian Christian? What kind of Christian would you say that you believe he is? Or if you don't know what group was he around, do you believe?
So I would say this, that there were Byzantium Christians, there were Nestorian-ish, Nestorian style Christians, and there were Ethiopian Christians in Arabia during that time. A lot of them had different Christological standpoints, or they had a lot of heresies going on amongst them. He would have grown up knowing all of these different points of controversies and contraventions. And I think based upon the information, he was pretty much so ecumenical, meaning he tried to do exactly what I did, try to get everybody involved, whether you're a Kemet, Jew, Christian, and so forth, but at the same time teach his own particular understanding, which is definitely Christian-based. And I can't tell you what type of Christian-based it was, because the scholars say it was something new that never existed on the Arabian Peninsula before. So it wasn't strictly Aksumite Christianity, but we can see, based upon the text, it was heavily influenced by Syrian Christianity, or Antioch or Syrian Christianity, and Abyssinian Christianity. So those were the two that you can see that it's definitely influenced by.
So what about saying that it was heavily influenced by Jewish traditions as well? Because we find a lot of Talmud traditions found in the Quran as well. So what are you going to say for that? That's Christian?
So the brother asked me about Christians. What was it in the Tufian Christians? He was asking me about Christianity, not about Judaism.
No, of the Quran. Are you talking about the influences of the Quran, right?
No, we're talking about Muhammad, and in terms of the Christian community, what community was he around? Now, of course, there were Jews. There were Jews. I don't know if that's my signal or your signal. That's breaking. Sounds like yours.
Yeah, your mic is going staticky, B. You might have to log in and log back in how I just did it. You sound like a bad television right now.
I'm gonna have to mute him. So, yeah, let's get him muted. Okay, cool. So, again, today's show. Let me just quickly round up today's show. Today's show was based upon the Marib Dam inscription. Yeah, it's based upon the, let me see. Okay, what is it called? Muhammad found in Abyssinia, unlocking the mystery of the Marib Dam inscription. So it's about the Marib Dam inscription. And in there, the Marib Dam inscription, we find a story of the consecration of the church or the cathedral. We find the very same story mentioned within this book over here, which is the life of Muhammad, which is the Sirah of Ibn Ishaq. And he basically talks about a particular individual, a particular character that was crowned, given a crown, and told to do certain religious propaganda amongst the Arabs. And they call that individual Muhammad, but in our inscription is called Abu Qasim, which I propose means archpriest, because it's only the archpriest that is able to take on and do certain functions of, it can be a representative of a bishop. We also find that, in the Syriac text, that this individual was also given episcopacy, meaning he was anointed as a bishop, which, according to them, contravened canon laws. So this is what was going on. Like this whole, Marib Dam inscription is talking about this major event in history amongst the Abyssinian Christians. Later on, we find out that there are emissaries and ambassadors and so forth that came and visited. And if you know anything about what happens after an archbishop has been sworn in or consecrated or been ordained, other dioceses come to congratulate and offer up gifts and so forth. Let me see if I can even bring that up. Let's see if I can just bring that up. Let's see. Let's see.
Kalam, your mic is muted.
My mic.
Or am I tripping, y'all?
Nah, you're tripping. You're tripping. My mic is not muted, but yeah. Let's see. Archpriest. Nope. Archbishop. Let's see. Archbishop. Let's see, Archbishop, Archbishop installation ceremony. Let's see. Let's do ordination. What's Nunus? Is it Nunus? Anyways, ambassadors visit. Ambassador visits. Anyways, there you go. There's a nun. Let's do that. Nuncio. Meaning. Let's see. Let's see if this comes up. An apostolic is is an ecclesiastical diplomat serving as envoy or permanent diplomatic representative of the Holy See to a state or to an international organization. A nuncio is appointed by represents the Holy See and is the head of the diplomatic mission called an apostolic blah blah blah, which is the equivalent of an embassy. The Holy See is legally distinct from the Vatican City, blah 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 blah. Okay, what's it called? An apostolic nuncio is generally equivalent in rank to that of an ambassador extraordinary and a plenipotentiary, although Catholic countries, blah 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 blah. Anyways, yeah, like you go and research that a little bit, and then you will see that with inside of the Marib Dam inscription. Let's quickly bring that up quickly. I'm tired. This is how you know I'm tired now. Just gonna fit in some last minute stuff to you guys. Where are we? Him, y'all. Right there. Cool. Let's go up a bit. Oh my God. Yeah. You will see that after the installation or ordination of the high priest, look who came to visit. Yeah. Then came to him the plenipotentiary minister of the Negus, and came to him the plenipotentiary minister of the king of the Romans, the ambassador of the king of Persia, the envoy of Mulzarian, the envoy of Harif son of Gabalat, and the envoy of Abikareb son of Gabalat. So after this, ordination took place, certain individuals, diplomats, plenipotentiaries, where's that word here? Where's the word? Plenipotentiary ministers came to visit. And as we can see over here, right? Where are we? I just saw it somewhere. Anyways, there you go. Plenipotentiaries, yeah? Plenipotentiaries, yeah? They come to visit. Let's just see. Let me just try to do this. Nunico visits Archbishop. Yeah. Anyways, see, I'm doing this off the cuff, but when you go and see it, basically, Nunico, they go anytime an archbishop has been installed or ordinated, they have to go and show their respect and all them things there, right? So if you go and read the dam, you'll see what's really going on. And then again, if you go into the Quran, mind you, yeah, the Quran, let's see, 1 second. No, let me see. Let me show you something that's interesting as well. Muhammad comparison, there you go. Yeah. Okay, cool. Page 652. So you see here you got a delegation of the Najashi, the Khusro of Persia, Caesar, and the Arab vassal kings. We have the same thing on Ibn Isak's, this book, 652. So it's like, fam, what's going on in the dam? Why did we somehow see it going on in Islamic records? So let's quickly, let me bring that up real quickly, like just to give you guys something to go and research as well. Ibn Isak stuff. 652. Let's go back a bit. Okay, cool. So
you
in
doing
there,
what I did with the list of Hikakasuk kings, so we could find out who Abraham and Moses might possibly be. So
yeah, same
you
thing.
dig, Duggan.
Yeah. So we see that after the period of the Hudaybiyah, yeah, guess what? They now send people to the different places. It's all long, man. I ain't got time to go through. My computer's even moving slow, but you'll find it anyway. You'll find it in there from roughly around page 650, where there is the year of the deputation, where they send, there's this famous thing where they send a letter to the Negus, they send a letter to the Roman emperor, they send a letter to Khusro, the Persian king as well, and then all the Arabs come to visit him. It's the same story that's on the Marib Dam is now just regurgitated inside of the Sirah literature. And to me, It's either the Syria literature is copying from the Marib Dam, i.e. Abyssinian chronicles, Abyssinian records, or they're just basically talking about the same event in history. Because surprise, surprise, yeah, what are the odds that both of these individuals, yeah, that's in the Sirah and inside of the, who they talk about is in the Marib Dam inscription, is called Muhammad. And the same stories that's in the Sirah literature, i.e. Muhammad being affected by a plague, i.e. Muhammad getting a delegation from the Najashi and so forth, all of this is already recorded in the Marib Dam inscription. But anyways, let's pretend that the Muslim historiographers are not copying. Let's pretend that they're not talking about the same individuals. And let's just say that this is completely unique and Islam created something completely original, even though there was already a religious figure in Arabia called Muhammad. And if you was to say, Muhammad Rasulullah, from 600 AD, let's say, 600 AD, this is 10 years before Muhammad's supposedly being called or commissioned, the Islamic Muhammad being called or commissioned. If you was to say, La ilaha illallah wa Muhammadan Rasulullah, before 600 AD, before 610 AD, do you know who they would be thinking about? Yeah, the Abyssinian Muhammad, the original Muhammad. Why? Because that Muhammad came with one God as well. La ilaha illallah. That Muhammad was the Rasulullah. He was an apostle. So it's like, this Muhammad brought a new religion. This Muhammad is said to be a prophet. This Muhammad was said to have received a holy book and gave it out to the people, etc., etc. This Muhammad, was underneath the King Abraham. So we have all of this stuff. But then you're telling me in 610, according to your story, this illiterate Arab came about and was able to, gather up all these people and convert them to this new religion called Islam. Although we find the rudiments of this already in previous, I don't get it. I don't get how people can't see through all the BS. I just don't get it. But anyways, I'm tired, so I'm not even going to hop on much longer. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the show. We're going to do much more shows again. But Family Tree, I'm signing out. And if you guys want to come in and have a conversation to the brothers that's on the panel, only 6 people maximum can come in. So here you go. Here's the link. And I'll catch you guys on the other side. Peace and blessings to you all. Amen.